point, it looked like both sides were close to a deal, as we know. But now that the White House has rejected House Speaker John Boehner's latest proposal, can lawmakers come together to get a deal done in time? As we know, we've just said it's oh so close. We're here to discuss is Democratic Congressman from California, John Garamendi. We were supposed to also be joined by Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. She couldn't make it. I'm sure there's all sorts of things going on behind closed doors when it comes to getting something done. Congressman Garamendi, thanks for being with us. You have said that you are willing to make sacrifices. Does that include reforms to entitlement programs?
Well, certainly there's room for reforms, but you don't need to throw seniors off the fiscal cliff to achieve those. There are very, very significant savings available in Medicare from, for example, the drug prescription issues, the issues of how you pay for medical services, fraud and abuse, on and on and on, all of which the president has put on the table, and we ought to take those. But you don't throw seniors off the cliff by, for example, changing the age to 67. That is just bad public policy, bad for seniors. It doesn't save much money.
Okay, but we don't have
Social
to do
Security,
it. But we don't have to do it for our existing seniors. I mean, I think Ashley's point was that, you know what, for people like me, you could raise it easily to even 70 at this point and save the country a lot of money.
No, actually, you wouldn't save much money because your cost when you get to 65 is going to be part of the health care system, whether you're in Medicare or in private insurance. And the chances are you won't be able to get the decent insurance policy, or perhaps none at all, when you get to be 65, because as healthy as you are today, Tracy, when you get to be 65, you begin to get health problems. And so it just doesn't make any sense in the nature of insurance itself. You don't want to limit the pool of any insurance program to very risky people, and you certainly do that if you change the age to 67 or even to 70. Not a good thing to do in any insurance program. So don't go there. You don't save much money, but you can save a lot of money in the Medicare program by providing patient visits so that you keep the medical issues under control. And one other thing that's out there, and that is trying to bring Social Security into this issue is not necessary. It is not part of the deficit. It is an issue that we'll have to deal with over the next 8 years. But right now, it's not a deficit issue at all. It's not part of the fiscal cliff. So don't throw seniors off the cliff to solve a non-existing problem in Social Security.
All right, well, let's get on to the other side, the revenue side, if we can, Congressman. Look, President Obama has been quoted many times saying it's time that millionaires and billionaires pay their share. Now, all of a sudden, it's $250,000 and up, then maybe up to $400,000. Right. What's wrong with the proposal in Plan B from Speaker Boehner that says, look, okay, $1 million and up can pay their more in taxes? What's wrong with that?
Well, there are several problems. You don't solve the revenue side of the equation. That's about 1/3 of the amount of money that Boehner offered about 4 days ago to put on the table. So you're really down to some $300 billion of money that you would collect in that. So you're not dealing with either a balanced approach or what would ultimately be necessary to solve the deficit problem. The president's proposal, 400,000 and below would continue to have a tax cut. Even there, you're giving away a lot of revenue, but nonetheless, you'd still have enough to be able to provide for the revenue side of a balanced deal.
But I think the problem, sir, is that it's all broke. Social Security is broke, the tax code is broke, nothing is working the way it's supposed to be working these days. Nothing is being funded the way it's supposed to be funded. 2/3 of everything that comes into this country goes right out the door. We have too many obligations. That is what needs to be addressed, and it just seems that we're working on the surface here.
Well, you're correct, at least in part. The reform of the corporate and the personal tax codes really hasn't been discussed in this issue, and it needs to be discussed. There are loopholes, tax giveaways, various kinds of deductions that make no sense in the modern world in which we live. And there are others that are absolutely essential. For example, research R&D tax credit, which gives the future economy the opportunity. There are others that have been with us for a century that you go, why are we continuing to subsidize the oil industry, the wealthiest industry in the entire world? Why would we do that when there are other things that we must do? For example, moving towards clean energy, shift those subsidies around. But none of that seems to be discussed right now, and you're quite correct, Tracy. It's a problem. We ought to be dealing with that. It's not going to happen in the next 10 days, 12 days, unfortunately.
All right, Congressman John Garamendi of California, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. And good luck in getting something done.
Thank you.
All right.